Constitution of India, Part 18, Miscellaneous, Article 361 to 367. Article 361, Protection of President and Governors and Raj Pramukhs. The President or the Governor or Raj Pramukh of a state shall not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of powers and duties of his office, or for any act done or purporting to be done by him in the exercise and performance of those powers and duties. Provided that the conduct of the President may be brought under review by any court, tribunal, or body appointed or designated by either House of Parliament for the investigation of a charge under Article 61. Provided further that nothing in this clause shall be construed as restricting the right of any person to bring appropriate proceedings against the Government of India or the Government of a state. No criminal proceedings whatsoever shall be instituted or continued against the President or the Governor of a state in any court during his term of office. No process for the arrest or imprisonment of the President or the Governor of a state shall issue from any court during his term of office. No civil proceedings in which relief is claimed against the President or the Governor of a state shall be instituted during his term of office in any court in respect of any act done or purporting to be done by him in his personal capacity, whether before or after he entered upon his office as President or as a Governor of such state, until the expiration of 2 months next after notice in writing has been delivered to the President or the Governor, as the case may be, or left at his office, stating the nature of the proceedings, the course of action therefore, the name, description, and the place of residence of the party by whom such proceedings are to be instituted, and the relief which he claims. Article 361A, Protection of Publication of Proceedings of Parliament and State Legislature. No person shall be liable to any proceeding, civil or criminal, in any court in respect of publication in a newspaper of a sustainability true report of any proceedings of either House of Parliament or the Legislative Assembly, or as the case may be, either House of the Legislature of a state, unless the publication is proved to have been made with malice. Provided that nothing in this clause shall apply to the publication of any report of the proceedings of a secret sitting of either House of Parliament or the State Legislative Assembly, or as the case may be, either House of the Legislature of a state. Clause 1 shall apply in relation to the reports or matters broadcast by means of wireless telegraphy as part of any program or service provided by means of a broadcasting station, as it applies in relation to reports or matters published in a newspaper. Explanation. In this article, newspaper includes a news agency report containing material for publication in a newspaper. Article 361B, Disqualification for appointment on remunerative political post. A member of a house belonging to any political party who is disqualified for being a member of the house under paragraph 2 of the 10th schedule shall also be disqualified to hold any remunerative political post for duration of the period commencing from the date of his disqualification till the date on which the term of his office as such member would expire, or till the date on which he contests an election to the House and is declared elected, whichever is earlier. Explanation. For the purposes of this article, the expression House has the meaning assigned to it in clause A of paragraph 1 of 10th schedule. The expression remunerative political post means any office under the Government of India or the Government of a state where the salary or remuneration for such office is paid out of the public revenue for the Government of India or the Government of the state, as the case may be, or under a body, whether incorporated or not, which is wholly or partly owned by the Government of India or Government of a state, and the salary or remuneration for such office is paid by such body, except where such salary or remuneration paid is compensatory in nature. Article 363. Bar to interference by courts in disputes arising out of certain treaties, agreements, etc. Notwithstanding anything in this Constitution, but subject to the provisions of Article 143, neither the Supreme Court nor any other courts shall have jurisdiction in any dispute arising out of any provision of a treaty, agreement, covenant, engagement, sonnet, or other similar instrument which was entered into or executed before the commencement of this Constitution by any ruler of an Indian state, and to which the government of the Dominion of India or any of its predecessor governments was a party, and which has or has been continued in operation after such commencements, or in any dispute in respect of any right accruing under or any liability or obligation arising out of any of the provisions of this Constitution relating to any such a treaty, agreement, covenant, engagement, sonnet, or other similar instrument. In this article, Indian state means any territory recognized before the commencement of this Constitution by His Majesty or the Government of Dominion of India as being such a state. And ruler includes the prince, the chief, or other person recognized before such commencement by His Majesty or the Government of Dominion of India as the ruler of any Indian state. Article 363A. Recognition granted to rulers of Indian states to seize and privy purses to be abolished. Notwithstanding anything in this Constitution or in any law for the time being in force, the prince, chief, or other person who at any time before the commencement of this Constitution, 26th Amendment Act 1971, was recognized by the President as the ruler of an Indian state, or any person who at any time before such commencement was recognized by the President as the successor of such ruler, shall own and from such commencement cease to be recognized as such ruler or the successor of such ruler. On and from the commencement of the Constitution, 26th Amendment Act 1971, privy purse is abolished, and all rights, liabilities, and obligations in respect of privy purse are extinguished, and accordingly the ruler, or as the case may be the successor of such ruler, referred to in clause A, or any other person shall not be paid any sum as privy purse. Article 364. Special provisions as to major ports and aerodromes. Notwithstanding anything in this Constitution, the President may by public notification direct that as from the date, such date as may be specified in the notification, any law made by Parliament or by the legislature of a state shall not apply to any major port or aerodrome, or shall apply thereto subject to such exceptions or modifications as may be specified in the notification, or any existing law shall cease to have effect in any major port or aerodrome, except as respects things done or omitted to be done before the said date, or shall in its application to such port or aerodrome have effect subject to such exceptions or modifications as may be specified in the notification. In this article, major port means a port declared to be a major port by or under any law made by Parliament or any existing law, and includes all areas of time being included within the limits of such port. Aerodrome means aerodrome as defined for the purpose of enactments relating to airways, aircraft, and air navigation. Article 365. Effect of failure to comply with or to give effect to directions given by the Union. Where any state has failed to comply with or to give effect to any directions given in the exercise of the executive power of the Union under any of the provisions of this Constitution, it shall be lawful for the President to hold that a situation has arisen in which the government of the state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. Article 366. Definitions. In this Constitution, unless the context otherwise requires, the following expressions have the meaning hereby respectively assigned to them. That is to say, agricultural income means agricultural income as defined for the purposes of the enactments relating to Indian income tax. An Anglo-Indian means a person whose father or any of whose other male progenitors in the male line is or was of European descent, but who is domiciled within the territory of India and is or was born within such territory of parents habitually resident therein In not established therefore temporary purposes only. Article means an article of this constitution. Borrow includes the raising of money by the grant of annuities or loan shall be construed accordingly. Clause means a clause of the article in which the expression occurs. Corporation tax means any tax on income so far as that tax is payable by companies and is a tax in the case of which the following conditions are fulfilled: that it is not chargeable in respect of accumulation of income, that no deduction in respect of the tax paid by companies is by any enactment which may apply to the tax authorized to be made from dividends payable by the companies to individuals, that no provision exists for taking the tax so paid into account in computing for the purposes of Indian income tax the total income of individuals receiving such dividends, or in computing the income tax payable by or refundable to such individuals. Corresponding province, corresponding Indian state, or corresponding state means in cases of doubt such province, Indian state, or state as may be determined by the President to be the corresponding province, the corresponding Indian state, or the corresponding state as the case may be for the particular purpose in question. Debtor includes any liability in respect of any obligation to repay capital sums by way of annuities and any liability under any guarantee, and debt charges shall be construed accordingly. Estate duty means a duty to be assessed on or by reference to the principal value ascertained in accordance with such rules as may be prescribed by or under laws made by Parliament or the legislature of a state relating to the duty of all property passing upon death or deemed under the provisions of the said laws so to pass. Existing law means any law, ordinance, order, bylaw, rule or regulation passed or made before the commencement of this constitution by any legislature, authority or person having power to make such a law, ordinance, order, bylaw, rule or regulation. Federal Court means the federal court constituted under the Government of India Act 1935. Goods includes all materials, commodities and articles. Goods and services tax means any tax on supply of goods or service or both except taxes on the supply of the alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Guarantee includes any obligation undertaken before the commencement of this constitution to make payment in the event of profits of an undertaking falling short of a specified amount. High Court means any court which is deemed for the purposes of this constitution to be a high court for a state and includes any court in the territory of India constituted or reconstituted under this constitution as a high court, and any other court in the territory of India which may be declared by Parliament by law to be a high court for all or any of the purposes of this constitution. Indian state means any territory which the government of the Dominion of India recognized as its head state. Part means a part of this constitution. Pension means a pension, whether contributory or not, of any kind whatsoever payable to or in respect of any person, and includes retired pay so payable, a gratuity so payable, and any sum or sums so payable by way of return with or without interest thereon, or any other addition thereto of subscriptions to a provident fund. Proclamation of emergency means a proclamation issued under clause 1 of article 352. Public notification means a notification in the Gazette of India or as the case may be the official Gazette of a state. Railway does not include a tramway wholly within a municipal area or any other line of communication wholly situated in one state and declared by Parliament by law not to be a railway. Ruler means the prince, chief or other person who at any time before the commencement of the Constitution, 26th Amendment Act 1971, was recognized by the President as the ruler of an Indian state, or any person who at any time before such commencement was recognized by the President as the successor of such ruler. Schedule means a schedule to this Constitution. Scheduled caste means such caste races or tribes or parts of or groups within such caste, races or tribes as are deemed under Article 341 to be scheduled caste for the purposes of this constitution. Scheduled tribes means such tribes or tribal communities or parts of or groups within such tribes or tribal communities as are deemed under Article 342 to be scheduled tribes for the purposes of this constitution. Securities includes stock. Services means anything other than goods. States with reference to Article 246A, 268, 269, 269A and Article 279A includes a union territory with legislature. Socially and educationally backward classes means such backward classes as are so deemed under Article 342A for the purposes of the central government or the state or the union territory as the case may be. Subclass means a subclass of the clause in which the expression occurs. Taxation includes the imposition of any tax or impost, whether general or local or special, and taxes shall be construed accordingly. Tax on income includes a tax in the nature of an excess profit tax. Tax on the sale or purchase of goods includes a tax on the transfer otherwise than in pursuance of a contract or property in any goods for cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration. A tax on the transfer of property in goods, whether as goods or in some other form involved in the execution of a works contract. A tax on the delivery of goods on hire purchase or any system of payment by installments. A tax on the transfer of the right to use any goods for any purpose, whether or not for the specified period, for cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration. A tax on the supply of goods by any unincorporated association or body of persons to a member thereof for cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration. A tax on the supply by way of or as part of any service or in any other manner whatsoever of goods being food or any other article for human consumption or any drink whether or not intoxicating, where such supply or service is for cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration, and such transfer, delivery, supply of any goods shall be deemed to be a sale of those goods by person making the transfer, delivery or supply, and a purchase of those goods by person to whom such transfer, delivery or supply is made. Union territory means any union territory specified in the first schedule and includes any other territory comprised within the territory of India but not specified in that schedule. Article 367 Interpretation. Unless the context otherwise requires, the General Clauses Act 1897 shall subject to any adaptations and modifications that may be made therein under Article 372 apply for the interpretation of this Constitution as it applies for the interpretation of an act as the legislature of the Dominion of India. Any reference in this Constitution to acts or laws of or made by Parliament or to acts or laws of or made by the legislature of a state shall be construed as including a reference to an ordinance made by the President or to an ordinance made by a governor as the case may be. For the purposes of this Constitution, foreign state means any state other than India, provided that, subject to the provisions of any law made by Parliament, the President may, by order, declare any state not to be a foreign state for such purposes as may be specified in the order.